This is Ryan Abraham and Dan Weber, USCFootball.com. Instant analysis, Wednesday practice of California week. I'm not Keely Eure, as you could tell. She's a little under the weather, so I'm going to take over instant analysis duties today. But interesting day at USC football practice. Half pads as normal, defensive day as normal, and I think a lot of the injured guys seem to be coming back. You got no Palier, no Teote, the linebacker, but we did see Talanoa Hufanga out there, and you know, for the most part, it seemed like the guys were pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean, this will be as healthy as they've been, probably on both sides of the ball. But I think Palier right now is the one guy who maybe could play. He practiced in full pads yesterday. Today, did not have pads on, so that's usually indicating, you know, they try and see how far they can go. I know he's got both a knee and an ankle, and we're not, sure what that might be. But other than that, I mean, having Drake Jackson and Christian Rector both full go, getting Marlon Tuipulotu back, it looks like, and he was alternating with Brandon Peely. So that gives you, those two guys, and Jay Tufele and Caleb Tremblay, who came back yesterday also. So they're in pretty good shape. And Greg Burns was talking about he considers himself to have 3.5 or maybe 4 starting corners now. So the sense is that this team's getting close to as healthy as it's going to be.
Yeah, one of the big talks, talking to Greg Burns, the USC secondary coach, some of the depth that they have there now, the young players have played well. You've seen Max Williams come in and play out well. Now Doran Hewitt, who really didn't consider himself a cornerback, coming in there and being considered someone that can come in and contribute and play right now.
He's played, he's been on the field at the end of a couple of games recently where, they're one score up or one score down, whichever way, and they have to get the ball back. And he's been out there, so they're really, I think they really like it. I mean, we keep hearing this, they keep saying it, but he's one of those 3.5 or 4 guys that they're considering starting corners. So that's some pretty good news.
Yeah, on the defensive line front, I got to talk to Brandon Peely, who you mentioned, getting some rotation, like you said, with Marlon Tuipulotu. Got the start on the road last weekend against Arizona State. Talked to him a little bit about preparing for what we're not sure about this Cal offense, because they've not looked that good for about 4 weeks in a row. They scored 41 points in 4 games. Then they scored 33 points last week. Devin Monster looks good. Chase Garbers could be coming back. You're not sure who you're prepared for, so they're kind of looking at how we're going to prepare for this Cal offense. It's looked a lot better than what we saw the previous month.
Yeah, Clancy said, obviously Monster, really picked it up last week, and they, Garbers has been there, a good while. So Clancy said, we're just preparing for the system. We're not going to, focus on one or the other of those guys. He said, but Monster obviously really picked up his game last week against Washington State, and they've always felt that, Garbers early in the year gave them a chance in every game they were in. So, it's get ready for the system. Whether Garbers has the ability to come back in a week or so, I mean, he's been out since like game 3 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Monster, now that after those 4 games where they couldn't score the ball, now with Monster and what happened last week, USC knows they got to be ready.
They got to be. Cal was 4-0, then they lose 4 in a row. They scored 5 offensive touchdowns last week, Dan. USC only scored 4. This is the Cal offense that was pretty terrible. So it's one of those things where is USC going to get the best looking Cal that we've seen over the past 6 weeks or so?
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with with them early in the year. I thought they looked pretty good. I would guess they'll be kind of rejuvenated. They'll be excited getting this game. I think they've got 5 wins, right? So This is their get us to a bowl game. It's going to be at 8 o'clock at night. I don't think I've ever been. I've been to twilight games that ended in the dark, games that ended, but nothing.
8 p.m. at Berkeley. Crazy.
That's and so the game's going to end up. People will be getting to their cars about midnight, which will be. You translate that to East Coast time. That's 3 o'clock in the morning. How many people are going to be watching this game at 3 o'clock in the morning? I can't imagine how that makes financial sense. That there are enough people watching to make those games worthwhile, but that's it. What I do think it hurts USC is that it's been a really big, well-attended game by USC fans the weekend, and it's been during the daytime most recently, almost all the time. And USC fans have really shown up and really had a good time. I know of people who've said, I'm just not going. That's too late.
Yeah.
I'm not taking my kids, whatever. And so I don't know how that's going to turn out for USC Saturday, but the USC crowd has really been a factor in the last, a number of games recently in Berkeley.
One of the big factors for USC on defense, Drake Jackson, coming back, looking good. He was a little down on himself today talking to him. He felt that he left a couple sacks on the table, but for this, rejuvenated Cal offense, a guy like Drake Jackson having a big game could be huge for USC.
Yeah, when you just watch him, and we did get to see some of the teamwork today because of a special event that actually we got to stay out there longer. But when you see a healthy Christian Rector and a healthy Drake Jackson anchoring, the defensive line, and Abdul Malik, McClain just playing like crazy when he's in there. It gives you a different feeling about this USC defense. That they've got a chance to contain the edge. And they did a really good job against Arizona State's Eno Benjamin last week, and that was the big focus last week. Not quite sure what their focus is this week. Cal doesn't exactly give you that kind of an offensive focus for the defense, but it'd be interesting to see if they can build on the good things they did last week.
The other defensive end, Christian Rector, got some Cal ties. Justin Wilcox, one of the guys that recruited him, he said he loves playing on the road. This is his swan song as far as road games go as a USC Trojan. And that first time he ever got to lead the band with the sword was against Cal a couple years ago. So this is kind of a special game for Christian Rector.
And then he got the turnover sword last week.
With three footballs on it, yeah.
I'm not really crazy about the turnover sword, but the regular sword's a pretty good deal. And it's nice to see him healthy. You can just tell when a kid's feeling good again. And he had a kind of a long stretch where he was trying to play, couldn't exactly play, knew he couldn't, but was doing whatever he could to help the team. And now he knows he's kind of ready to play, and that's a good sense for certainly for a senior.
You got to talk to Clancy Pendergas, defensive coordinator. You mentioned some of the stuff with the quarterback. But any other interesting tidbits that Clancy shared today?
He talked about he coached at Cal, and like a lot of people, he said he was talking about the first time he coached with Clay in 2013 when they won 10 games, and then he was with the 49ers there, and when Clay got the job and asked him to come back, and saying what a good man Clay is, and the fact that the noise is out there and all the speculation about that. He said, I just don't let that bother me. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. I just come in and coach football every day, and the other stuff that's going on, he said, I'm just not hearing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned a special event. What was going on today?
Well, there's a national tour of Medal of Honor winners, and it's kind of a neat story. It's the first time 2 Green Berets from the same unit in the same battle have been awarded Medal of Honor, and one of them was a fellow by the name of a Washington State guy by the name of Ron Scher from Puyallup, Washington, and he was the medic. Kept 4 guys alive. A group, there were 15 to 17 Americans and some Afghani who were kind of, fighting alongside the Americans. And they got ambushed by 200 enemy.
Whoa.
And it was a 6.5-hour battle. And none of the Americans were killed. They give Ron Scher credit for saving at least 4 guys' lives. And Matt Williams was he was from Berkeley, Texas, and he just got his Medal of Honor last month, just a few weeks ago. And it's the first time, again, 2 Medal of Honor winners from the same unit for the same battle. So they're going all over the country and visiting. They were at the NFL Network this morning, and they came over here today. USC's got this really strong Veterans Masters program, and they were with the ROTC students and with the veterans in the Masters program. Then they came by the football field to say hi and meet some of the players and coaches, and got their photos taken and all that. But they're really cool guys to talk to. I was really impressive. I mean, we saw them coming in all in their full dress uniform, and we're just watching them and saying, wow, those guys hit a lot of medals. But then you see them up closer and you realize they've got that light blue ribbon with the Medal of Honor on it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, and you realize you're lucky if you ever see, one guy, with the Medal of Honor, but to see two of them walking in together is pretty cool.
And we got to see a little more practice, so that's pretty nice.
And then we got to stay for practice because they let them come over and talk to us, and that was really, really cool. So a lot of good things. It was just a really nice event.
Well, Keely always gets your prediction for the game. I'm not gonna let her down. What's your prediction for this one?
I'm gonna say I've gone with like 31 for USC the last 2 weeks. I was 31-28 last week and ended up 31-26. So
wow, very close.
On the money. I'm going to keep USC at 31. For some reason, they look like a 4-touchdown field goal team. And I'm going to give Washington 20 or 21, something like that. Cal. Excuse me. Cal, 20 or 21.
All right.
So let's go with that. Maybe a double digit. Maybe this week, instead of having the double-digit lead in the first quarter, how about having it at the end of the fourth quarter? It would be kind of a little different way to go for this team.
Yeah.
Win a road game and not have it be a one-score game, I think, would be the way to go. So we'll see.
I think USC's favored by like 6 or 6.5 or something. So, double-digit win, they'd cover the spread. So that'd be interesting.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up here outside of the John McKay Center. That's Dan Weber. I'm Ryan Abraham. Make sure you check out uscfootball.com for more.